All right, everybody, it is Week 8 in the NFL coming up, and now the elite teams are starting to separate themselves from the teams that just aren't that good. It's the halfway point in the season, so Andy Wheeler and Dave Delgado are here with me for KUAM Pigskin Pickems. And Andy is laughing right now because in our league, in the Pickems League, the elite teams, like
the expert
teams, like yours, are starting to separate those of us who just have no idea what we're talking about.
I'm hitting my mid-season form. Yeah. I'm starting to get it.
Well, Andy, number 7 in the Pigskin Pick'em. So if any of you listen to him on the radio and hear him go on and on about how the Patriots are God's gift to all things athletic and everything, sign up right now and see if you can take down the man right now because he is doing quite well. Dave Delgado also doing really, really well. Gentlemen, some really interesting games right now. Not exactly the slam dunk, to use a basketball analogy, they would think. Specifically with the Redskins and Broncos, that is not an easy out for Peyton Manning and crew.
No, a couple weeks ago, you would think, all right, easy. I think it's still going to be a high-scoring game. But the Redskins last week against Chicago, they showed that they'll let Chicago, like a team like the Bears, put up 41 points, which Chicago's not really a high-powered offense. So with the Broncos coming in, RG3 is going to have to keep pace with that, which is going to be a ridiculous task. So it'll be close back and forth for a little bit, but then once it just gets too much for the Skins, Broncos are going to pull away.
Now, Dave, I think you picked the Broncos, right? But as good as that defense is, now Champ Bailey out again, but they got Von Miller back. They're still giving up a lot of points.
Yeah, but, it's going to come down to the receiving core, and I think Denver has the better set of receivers. RG3 seems like he's almost getting there, but not yet. So I think it's going to go to the veteran core of the Denver Broncos and the receivers there.
All right. Well, another game that looks pretty cut and dry on paper, but it's actually kind of hard to pick, is the Jets going to Cincinnati, because both teams, they can be really good one week, and then the next week you wonder why they're getting paid to do this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Jets, I hate them, but they went into, they beat New England. Cincinnati, they've had a good squad, but they've lost a couple games just because of bad mistakes, bad clock management, something like that. But they're a good team, so I'm going to have to go with the Bengals on that one.
All right, who have you got for that game?
I got the Bengals, too. The Jets just seem like a team that they're just barely getting enough done to get the win, so I'm going with Cincinnati.
And the thing with the Jets last week when they beat New England, it's like that's what they're built to do. That's what Rex Ryan wants to do every year. They could go 2-14 as long as those 2 wins are against New England, and he'd be a happy guy. So they went in there, and it was just a huge game for them. Of course, it was at home, but they beat New England, so that's what they're designed to do.
All right, and Jets on the road going to the Queen City for that one. Another game that if you're playing Pigskin Pick'ems, this is a game where you want to get your points. Steelers and Raiders, the 2 teams that aren't doing so well, not living up to their historical dominance, but that's a tough one to pick. What do you got?
It is a tough one to pick, but I went with Oakland. Pittsburgh has too many injuries on the offensive line. I think they're down to their third-string guys up front protecting Ben, which they haven't been able to do. The rest of the offense just isn't getting it together, and their defense is, I think, one of the oldest in the league, so they're having trouble keeping up with a lot of teams, so I went with the Raiders.
All right, Double D, you've lived in Northern California before. You going with the Terrible Towel or Raider Nation?
Yeah, I went with the Steelers on that one. The last time I went against the Steelers, I lost, so I'm hoping it comes down to quarterback play, and hopefully Big Ben does enough to come out with the win there.
It's going to be an ugly game, though, that's for sure. Mistakes, penalties. I think it's just going to be kind of like that the Vikings-Giants game.
It might be a real low-scoring game there.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the other games, Bills and Saints, most people on our Pigskin Pick'ems roster, they pick the Saints. Browns and Chiefs, everybody practically picking the Chiefs. And then is there anybody in the world, whether you know anything about football or not, who picked the Jaguars to beat the mighty 49ers this week?
I can't think of a reason. It's in Jacksonville.
Native of Florida probably picked them,
Right? A couple weeks ago, there was 1% that picked. So there was one person out there that picked the Jags. So we'll see if there's going to be somebody out there that picks the Jags.
I would love to see it happen, though. I would love to see the Jags.
Double D would not, because that's his 49ers.
Yeah, I just think that I would cheer all day, even though I'm not a Jaguars fan.
All right, so let's go ahead and check out who won last week's Week 7 Pigskin Pick'ems from our online community. Was Devin65. So that's the 3rd week that this person has won. So good job, Devin.
I'm coming for you, Devin.
Yeah, we will contact you with your special prize package. So, guys, final thoughts on Week 8 as we hit the midpoint of the NFL season.
Well, teams aren't really separating as much as usually this point in the season. It's okay, hey, this guy there's a lot of upsets, and the league is pretty even. A couple standout teams, but even they've shown days where they are just off. So it's been an interesting year so far.
Well, look to the Chiefs to become 8-0 and keep that undefeated record intact this weekend.
All right, well, everybody, Dave, Andy, and I, and Pedro, who's not here today, are making our picks right now. Please do the same. Go to KUAM.com/Pickems, and then you can make your picks right now. And please, somebody teach Andy about humility. And Dave will give you a call. He'll congratulate you because, you know, like we love sports here and everything. And we also love just good old-fashioned Guam football. So, all right, enjoy the games, and we'll see you next week.